This is the Marvel Legends series, Thor Ragnarok Loki. The figure is part of the first wave of this new 2017 Thor Ragnarok Marvel Legends series of figures. And I picked up the entire set from Kramer Toy Warden. Loki comes with the right leg of the War Hulk, or just the Hulk, for the Gladiator Hulk, for the new Thor Ragnarok movie. Line of Marvel Legends figures. And I have imposed like this because this is how I feel about the figure. My goodness, easily the weakest figure in the wave. And it's not just because it's Loki. I'll put Thor's leg right there. It's not just because it's Loki, but because this figure, I think in concept, was a great idea. It looks so it looks as accurate as can be, as movie accurate as can be, but it just doesn't do it. It's not doing it for me. And I know a lot of you are going to be saying, "Oh, you whine too much. Hasbro did a wonderful job on this figure, and you're complaining too much. You're lucky we got Loki." Okay, let's just take the figure apart. No, not literally, figuratively. First off, let's talk about the good things. It's got a movie accurate sculpt. The details are very accurate to what we've seen, at least on the trailers. This is a fantastic Tom Hiddleston head sculpt, and oh my goodness, it has that Beetlejuice sort of Joker vibe to it. If you look at several on the pegs, I'm sure you'll find a lot, because there's 2 per case. And a lot of collectors are not going to be picking up this figure. If there's too much wash on the eyes, or too much eyeliner, or too much mascara, it kind of looks like Beetlejuice or the Joker or something like that. But you have to find the right lightly painted eyes and nicely painted lips to give that Tom Hiddleston Loki look to it. And I love this one. This is the best one I saw out of all the cases were delivered at Kramer. It was very nice. The head sculpt is a separate piece that they've glued on. That's why there's not a lot of paint splotches or bleeding of the flesh paint or the black paint onto the flesh plastic. That's a great technique that Hasbro has been employing nowadays with their Marvel Legends figures, and I love it. The armor pieces, they're sculpted so nicely and painted so well. If at all, if there's going to be any complaints on the paint apps on the figure, it's going to be on the gold paint apps. Make sure that they're on squarely. This was the best one I could find. The gold on those rivets and the buckle, the metal frame on the waist cape, and on that piece and its collar pieces, they're all painted nicely. The only problem with this, with the one I have, is that the PVC molded waist cape, the soft PVC molded waist cape, has a bit of a line. I think a blade might have fell on it and it got cut right. It's supposed to be like seamless, like very, very flat like that. I've seen other figures that had perfectly molded, that had no cuts like that, but they were, the paint apps, the gold was, some of the gold was bleeding onto the blue, and you know, I went for this one. Okay, the boots, it's got a little bit of a wash, I think, a little bit of a blue and black wash. Very nice. You get a lot of paint details for the figure. But the deal breaker for me for this particular figure is really the cape, which I found very annoying trying to assemble. Right now it's staying on, but when you first get this figure, as you start posing him here and that, this particular piece just loves to get off. And Hasbro is trying something new with their new cape attachment. Instead of that usual backpack with a hole in the back where you plug that thing on, they have these 2 small annoying soft pegs that peg onto the shoulders of the figure. I tried removing the head and then slapping it on. As soon as I put the head back on, this thing just popped off, and this was absolutely annoying. I know it's a small complaint, it shouldn't be a deal breaker, but for me it is, because I like to articulate, like to pose my figures. And the right one pegs on nicely, but the left one, because I think they miscalculated the measurements, it should be like 2 millimeters, a little bit closer to the body. Doesn't want to stay on, and it is a pain just pegging that thing on, because it is soft. It's a soft kind of plastic, and as you're moving the figure, right now it's staying on. But yeah, look at that, it's off again, and it can be annoying, but this is the deal breaker for me. So you got to keep his hair on it so it doesn't pop off. Okay, another thing I noticed, they didn't give him any accessories except this crown. The crown is made of another, excuse me. Okay, the crown is made of soft PVC material, again, I guess for safety reasons. I love the gold plastic that they used for this one, and it fits nicely on Loki's head. It's not a full helmet, but it's fine. Also, they didn't give him any other, there goes the cape again. And I noticed they also did not give him any, whatever, man, whatever. And I noticed they didn't give him any accessory at all. There's no knife or blade. There's no scepter, obviously, because the scepter, you lost it in Age of Ultron. Or anything. He must, like, he could have pretended to have a scepter or something. Maybe in the movie he doesn't. I wish they would have given him a repainted blaster from one of the other Marvel Legends sets, like a Titus blaster or something like that, just to simulate that thing we saw in the trailer, that he had that big ass blaster with Thor. But anyway, this is still my Marvel Cinematic Universe Loki for my shelf. I think I love this figure, and I don't think this figure can ever replace this one. Can replace one for now. But if you're a big Loki fan, you love Thor for the cinematic universe, this is a welcome addition. The sculpt on the head is perfect. The paint apps down to the uniform is great. The cape sucks. The helmet is just okay, but yeah, not completely happy with this figure. No real emotional attachment to this new Loki. Okay, articulation for the figure before we go is a ball jointed neck that's on a hinge, and again, the hair sculpt is made of soft PVC material that does not hinder any articulation for the neck, which is great. Well done, Hasbro. He's got a little bit of a snapback, ratcheting waist joint, ratcheting ab crunch, ball hinge shoulders, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, ball hinge wrists that go in and out, ball jointed hips, thigh swivel, double jointed knees, no calf swivel, but he's got a ball hinge ankle with a rocker tilt. So all in all, this Loki is gonna get a 7 out of 10 for me. The only thing going for it for me is that wonderful Tom Hiddleston head sculpt, which I love. That's the only thing. If I don't get to sell this figure or pass it on to a buddy, I'll probably just cannibalize this head, pop it off, and maybe replace it here if we can. And look at that. It's not a good fit, but wow, I've never actually done this one before. It's the first time I've done it. It looks fantastic. He's a little bit hunched, just a little bit, but it kind of works. Wow, well done, Hasbro. Like I said, this is the only thing going for this particular figure, and I'm probably not keeping it. I'm probably not going to be keeping it. Nevertheless, it's a great representation of this new Loki from the new movie Thor Ragnarok. If you can pick it up on regular retail, do so. If you can get it as a set from your local hobby shop, so much the better. There you go, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this little video review. This has been the Marvel Legends series Thor Ragnarok Loki. Thanks for watching.